Hello everyone and welcome to task 7 of our SQL injection video series. In this task we're gonna see how we can exploit blind SQL injection based on boolean. So boolean based blind SQL injection, that's what we will be doing in the lab. So let's see what it entails. So boolean based SQL injection refers to the response we receive from our injection attempts, which could be true or false, yes or no, on or off, 1 or 0, or any response that can only have two outcomes. That outcome confirms that our SQL injection payload was either successful or not. On the first inspection, you may feel like this limited response cannot provide much information. Still, with just these two responses, it's possible to enumerate a whole database structure and its contents. So yeah, that's what the practical lab is going to be based on. We're going to have just a boolean output. So in this case, if you look at the mock browser, we have an object where we have taken set to true, so it can either be true or false. So that's the boolean. So let's see the practical on level 3. So this is level 3. On level 3 of the SQL injection example machine, you're presented with a mock browser with this particular URL. And then if you look at the URL, we see that it's like an API endpoint. So check user is an API endpoint, and then it receives a username, and what we assume it does is it goes in to check if this particular username already exists, and then it will tell you if it exists, it will tell you taken is true. If it doesn't, it will tell you taken is false. So basically that's what this particular web application does, and then we're gonna see if we can exploit it with boolean based injection attack. So let's see. So first of all, this is the API endpoint, check user, and then it's accepting the username. So let's say username admin, and it tells us it's taken. So probably we assume it's querying the database to see if this particular username is already in the database, and if it retrieves this particular username to be true, then it tells us it exists. So this is the SQL query. So it's selecting user from the username. It's selecting everything from the users table where username is equal to admin, and then it's just taking the first row and returning it. All right, so we can see that if we try to put something else apart from admin, let's see. So admin 1 doesn't exist, admin 2 doesn't exist, so the output is false. If you put XX, X is false, and let's say YY is also false. So what it tells us is that we should be able to use this behavior to enumerate an aspect of the database. So we are going to try with our union select statement, and then we see. So this is false. So when we see false, it means our union select statement did not work. So let's put 2 columns. This is still false. If we put 3, this is still false. So I can see there is a problem with the way we are crafting our SQL query. If you look at the query here, we are not terminating the username, so we have to terminate it this way. and then let's start again from select one. So here we can see the SQL results is telling us that the use select statement has different number of columns. So if you see this particular output, it means you are on your way to getting something out of the injection attack. So we just have to increment the number of columns we are sending to the database. So we'll send it to increase to 2, and we're still having the same error result, and we change it to 3. So when we change it to 3, you can see that our value have changed to true here. So it means we have 3 columns. All right, so that means we have been able to enumerate the number of columns that the database has. So let's see if we'll be able to find out what database, like the database name. So we can continue to append, we can say from select column 1, 2, 3. Let's see where database like percent. All right, so if this returns true, it means we are on track. It means, so what this means is that we are trying to find the name of the database, but the wildcard here, it means the name of the database can be anything. So we are just trying to see if our query statement is true, but it can be anything. That's what the wildcard stands for. So now what we have to do is to try to enumerate character by character. So let's see if the database name starts with an A. You see that is false. It doesn't start with an A. So we go to B. It doesn't start with a B. And the benefit of foresight, I know the database starts with something like S. So if we go to S, you can see that it says true. So it means the database name starts with S. So we can now move to the next character after S. So let's say A, SA. So the database name doesn't start with SA. SB doesn't start with SB. And then I know like it starts with SQ. So we see that is true. So SQLi. From the previous task, I think the databases had names similar to the level. So the level 1, I think the database name was SQLi1. So this one, I assume it will be SQLi3. All right. So sometimes you have to just be smart about how this database may be named. So let's see. So this is true. And then if you add anything else apart from this SQLi3, you're going to get false. So it means we've been able to enumerate our database name, and the name of the database is SQLi3. So let's save this. Let's save this kind of information in our notes. So we can say the B name is SQLi3. All right, so we've been able to enumerate our database name. So what we need to enumerate now is our tables. So the tables in the database, that will be the next stage. So still from this query, you just have to modify this query, and then what we need to do is we are selecting the 3 columns. So let's say from information schema dot tables, where table schema is equal to our database name, which is SQLi3, and And what I think yeah, so the and table, let's say table name, like yeah, so this is what we're gonna do. We're going to try to query some information from the information schema dot tables, where table schema is equal to, so we are going to query from the database, and then the table name is going to be like we are trying to find the table name from this query. So this one too, we are going to do it character by character. So first of all, we try to see if we'll get a true statement if we haven't actually specified any table name. So the wildcard can mean any table name. So let's see. So this is true. All right. Now we can start with a character by character. So let's say A. So we have false. So it means the table name does not start with A. And we go to B. It doesn't start with B. C, it doesn't start with C. D, it doesn't start with D. And when you go to U, we have true. It's returning true, so it means the table name starts with U. S, it starts with US, so I know it's user, which is true. It's still true. Let's add S and see. Okay, so it's still true. All right, so we have users. If we had any character, let's add A, and then we have false. So it means our table name is users. All right, so let's say table name is users, so we have our table name to be users. All right, so now we can again go ahead to modify this query because we have a table name. Now we can go ahead to find columns in the table. All right, so in that case, we just come and modify instead of the tables, we say columns, where so instead of table schema, we'll say table name. Now we are not gonna guess, now we know the table name, where table name is equal to users and column name and column name like. So now we are trying to determine the column names. All right, so this query will do that for us. So we are still searching from the information schema, but this time around from columns, where table name is users. So we are searching from the users table, trying to find the columns, and then the column name is like, we don't know the column name. That's what we are going to first. All right, so let's go and change it here and see. So if it returns true, it means we are on track. Yeah, so this is true, so we are on track. And now we can start fuzzing the column name. So the first column, if I put A, is false. If I put B, is false. So there's no column in the user database, in the users table that starts with B. That's what it means here. And if we try ID, we know most tables always have an ID field or ID column. So we can see that ID comes up as true. So we have an ID here. and then we can also try username. So username is also true. So this is supposed to be fast. You're supposed to try them character by character, but this is just the benefit of foresight. I know we have this column names, but you are supposed to fast them character by character. So we have username, ID. So we can go back here, and then we say column names. So we have ID, username, and then we can try to find the other columns. So to do that, we have to modify this particular query again, and then we are still using the users table, and then column name like. So we are still looking for the column name like, and then also and column not equal to ID, and column not equal to not equal. This is supposed to be not equal to username. Yeah. So this particular query, because we already know the ID and then the username, we are going to fast again. So we want to make sure that we remove what we already have identified. All right, if that makes sense, let's go back and check. So we are getting a false. We're supposed to let's see this. Got a query properly from column where table name is users and column name like and column not equal to ID. Okay, let's see. We have an error here in our SQL statement. So check the manual. Column not equal to ID and column. So I think that's where okay, let's try this again. See if the problem will be resolved. Okay. So we're still having an error somewhere. Let's see where is this error coming from. Oh, okay. I know. So let's paste this properly. Okay, so this is true. So now we need to fast for the other column. So we have ID, and then we have username. So we're trying to remove the ID and username so that those doesn't return true. That's what I was trying to do here. actually don't know why it isn't working out the way I wanted to. Let's see. So where table name is equal to users and column name and column name and column name like and column name not equal to ID. This is supposed to work. Let's see. Yeah, so yeah, it's working. So this time around, if we put ID here, it's supposed to return false. Yeah, so you see ID returns false, so we can continue to fast. All right, and then we can also say and column name not equal to username. Okay, so let's delete this and paste. Okay, so this is still true. So now here if we put username, it's supposed to also return false. Good. So this particular query, it does work. So now we can start querying from, we can start fuzzing from A, it doesn't work, B doesn't work, C is false, and then if we go to P, you see that it's true, A is true, S is true, so I assume this is going to be password. All right, so password is also true, so we're able to fuzz this, and then our last column is going to be password. So we got that working. That's fine. And now that we have the columns, we now have to retrieve the data in those columns. So let's use this query again and just modify it. So now we just going to select from what's the name, from the table. So the table is users, where username like okay, so now we are going to fuzz the username. We are going to fuzz the username character by character. Let's see if this one will work. Let's go back. Okay, so this is true to start with. So let's see whether the username starts with A. It starts with A. Okay, let's see whether the next letter also starts with A. It doesn't start with A. Let's see if it starts with B. It doesn't start with B. Let's see if it starts with D. Yes, true. We have true, so it starts with D. So I'll assume it's admin, and admin comes in as true. All right. So we say create. So username is admin. So let's see if we can fuzz the password. So what we do here is we just modify So where username, so now we know the username. So where username is equal to admin and password like here. So now we're trying to fast the password. Let's do that. Okay, so it's true here. So if we put a, it means the password doesn't start with a. I know the password is it's an integer, so they are numbers. So we're just going to save ourselves some time, not go through the alphabet. So let's start with 1. It doesn't start with 1. 2, not 2. 3 doesn't start with 3. 4. Okay, it starts with 3. It starts with 3. Let's see over the next character whether it starts with 1. No. 2. No. 3. No. 4. No. 5. No. 6. It doesn't start with 6. 7. It doesn't start with 7. 8. It starts, okay, so the next character or the next letter is 8. And then let's see, so the next one I think is supposed to be 5. No, it's not 5. Let's see, 4. Okay, it's 4. And then the last character, let's say 1. It's not 1. 2. It's not 2. 3. Not 3. 4. Not 4. 5. Not, okay, it's 5. So we have 3. There are 4 characters. It's 3845. So our password here is 3845. So we can try to use this to authenticate into our page and see if it works. So the username is admin, and then the password is 3. I think it's 3845 with right 3845. Yeah, let's see, and yes, that was correct. So we're able to log in. So we've moved to level 4. So that's the end of task. That's the end of task 8. So I think we have the flag here. Let's input the flag to see if it's correct. Alright, so the flag is correct. So we will move to task A in the next video. Thank you.